This is Steve DeAvery, and this is Franklin Boulevard Media. So I actually grew up in West Virginia, originally from New Jersey, but spent my formative years about 6 hours north of Gastonia. I went to college at the University of Notre Dame, northern Indiana. A lot of snow, not many opportunities, and like yourself, I was a communications major, but I got really engaged and involved in YMCA work. While I was at Notre Dame in the summers and camps, and really felt that that was my passion. So when I saw about opportunities, there was one in Lake Norman and one in Gastonia right next door, and the Lake Norman folks never called me back, and the Gastonia folks did, and sent me down and said, hey, make sure you bring some shorts. And I left the South Bend airport in the snow, and I came here, and it was really hard to negotiate because I was in right away. So I was right next door here at the Central YMCA, 23 years old. Didn't think I had a girlfriend, but just met somebody a week before I graduated and checked that off the bucket list. And we've been married now 22 years. I was the Teen and Family Program Director. So I was in charge of teen camps, and then 2 or 3 weeks in, the camp director left, and 2 or 3 weeks later, the sports director left. So I became the camp and teen and sports director, and you know how that goes with any job and all. They just keep piling things on. So I really went from a program director a few years later, running the YMCA down at the South Gaston Y, down Union Road. And then for about 4 or 5 years, till its demise here, I oversaw both the South and the old Central YMCA till the day they closed the doors, and we cut the ribbon at the new Y, and I switched name tags and kept driving over this way instead, and became CEO of the Gaston Regional Chamber of Commerce at the time, at the end of 2017. Well, I was talking to a firefighter the other day, and I was like, you probably don't know this, but I coached your 4-year-old soccer team. And he said, huh, how about that? I'm sure my parents know. And his dad was a city council member here, Charles Odom, and it was Charleston. It was neat. But there's, folks, they're the assistant district attorney now, Blakeney Brown, who was 10 years old, 9 years old, and now she's 35 years old. So it's amazing to see how they've grown. Many have stayed around here, and a lot of folks have left, but I would say 9 out of 10 times when someone recognizes my face but not my name, they're like, I know you. And I say YMCA, and they say, absolutely, that's where it is. And it wasn't just the youth and the teens, it was the seniors in the pool, it was the guys in the locker room, it was folks playing Legends Leagues basketball. It was every walk of life when it came to Gastonia, and it was a great opportunity for me to jump right in. So there was a lot of, quote, chamber experienced execs that came in and went, and very good people, but some of them left for what they thought was better pastures and bigger places, and they moved here from somewhere else. And then some, it didn't really work out, so there was just a lot of transition. And when another opportunity arose, the board here said, hey, maybe we don't necessarily need someone with chamber experience, maybe we need someone that already knows the community. So I said, I know programs, I know events, I know the people, I know potentially the landmines here. I sure don't know what a Chamber of Commerce all does, but we can learn and figure that out. And they gave me the opportunity and the trust to do that. And really those YMCA relationships made such an impact and continue to make that impact. On the other hand, I don't have to keep the phone next to me because there's no lifeguard calling me at 5 in the morning saying that a pipe burst or they're not coming into work. So we don't have emergency groundbreakings here at the GBA, which is a nice balance. So the GBA is an accredited Chamber of Commerce. It's the Gaston Business Association. So one of our wings is the chamber side, and we say we connect, we commit, and we collaborate. So we connect with folks all the time. Hey, I need help with finding a plumber in town, or hey, do you have an engineering firm that can work there? Or Tark, let me introduce you to a buddy who's a realtor, and I heard you have a family member that might be selling a house. So it's connection, a lot of it, making the commitment to the community, whether it's being higher in our education system or with our healthcare system or our property values. Like, what can we do to grow and make that commitment? And then it's all about collaboration. You know, we're a group of 5 full-time staff and 1 part-time staff. There's no way we're doing all of this work on our own. So it takes a lot of volunteers, a lot of partners, and then a lot of what we call investors, and those are our members to the GBA. It's as big as Caramont Health, it's as small as downstairs ice cream. And if we can all row at least in a common direction and we're making Gaston County a better place, then we're doing our job on that side of things. We've also taken a lot more work on talent development, really workforce, whether it's in the hiring, whether it's in the education, whether it's the just place of, you know, of where to be. And we hope that people will either go away to college, find someone and visit, but hopefully come back and return and work here and live here and bring up their family here. And then one other area of focus that I'm just all about right now is our partnerships with the City of Gastonia, and we work with their downtown business services and now the town of Dallas, and hopefully have another town's announcement here in the next week or two. But that's my bread and butter, really getting to work with downtown Gastonia, town of Dallas, and then this other town, which is a lot of fun. You can see wins right away with it. So we've put together, it's through a Main Street USA concept. We're not a Main Street program, we're too big of a city, but the idea is how do we get non-elected officials, non-city workers to commit to what they're passionate about and how they can help the community. So we have once a month, we'll meet on a Tuesday. So my first Tuesday of the month is going to be a group of recruitment and retention. So they are looking at vacant buildings, they are recruiting other businesses here, they're working with developers, they're working on ordinances, all those type areas. Our second Tuesday of the month is called placemaking and public spaces. So it's, do we feel safe? How does it seem at night here? What's the lighting like? What's the look like? Can we do facade grants? We've got architects in there, we have designers in there, we have marketing folks. I'm just the one that invites folks and buys their coffee and let them do their magic here. The third group is leadership and engagement. So if you're organizing an event, or we've got Cinco de Mayo Festival coming up, or we have the Gaston Max, they're the ones that are trying to get those groups engaged with other groups to find volunteers, find support, marketing. They also run our caffeine and conversation programs. And then our fourth one, which is a lot of fun, is our visitor experience and storyteller group. So it's exactly like what you're doing. We're finding influencers out there. We're telling the good stories that are happening in downtown Gastonia, because a lot of folks may not have been down here in quite a while. So we're trying to share it where they may feel comfortable on their phone or their laptop and then say, you know what? Maybe downtown Gastonia is not a bad place to go visit and tell their friends. So that's a good part that we're being intentional about with downtown Gastonia. And we've got almost 40 volunteers, and there's some movers and shakers that are part of that group making things happen here. What's on the horizon? There's short-term wins, there's long-term wins. So I could work backwards where long-term wins are, there'll be entire city blocks that'll be available for development. So something that would be public would be where the county police and the Board of Elections, they're gonna move to a public safety campus. We would have an entire block on Franklin Boulevard and 321. Tons of traffic, tons of opportunities. Is this something that you bring in a big time developer and do some major works there? We've been in that post office, and I'm not saying that post office is closing down anytime soon, but there's only 2 or 3 employees in there. It's not the main post office for Gastonia anymore. If there was a time that they said, hey, we're ready to not keep that post office, it's a gorgeous building. What could be done in that kind of square feet? So we're already coming up with designs, ideas, concepts, but on the other hand, also we're making sure that vacant buildings that are falling apart are getting their due, and that we're making sure either A, they don't fall apart, or 2, they might need to come down, and what can we do to build them up. It's putting the digital signage up. It's doing the, changing out the bike racks. It's when a swarm of bees show up that we contact a beekeeper and he takes care of things. So it's the little things, but the potential big things as well. Gastonia is growing no matter what. Can we do it in a positive light? So I think it's great that 20, 30 years ago no one looked at at Gastonia as an opportunity. And maybe if they did, they could have come in here with bulldozers and torn down our downtown. And the fact that no one really did come in and invest gave us a little bit of an advantage now, because now we're the final frontier when it comes to the greater Charlotte area. So we can hopefully do it our way, celebrate our past, but know that there's this momentum going forth.
Gas House or G-Town?
The question is Gas House or G-Town. I am somewhat pro Gas House, and I am personally, this isn't speaking on behalf of anyone, including my family, not a big fan of G-Town. Not saying I won't support it if the signage is still up there, but we got a lot of little signs there that we could put a new moniker, and I think it's time for something different. But the Gas House Forever group, Ezekiel and those guys, I still have the shirts and hats and all that, so I was quite supportive, and I think it's a term of endearment, but it's also who says it and how they say it. So I respect that, but I'm more pro Gas House and not as much of a G-Town.